I'll back up just to. Hi, everybody. Welcome in. Happy to have you back for day two of the challenge. We are very excited to talk about newbie increases today. Yesterday, we talked about is this the dream career? Really, what the definition of dream is. And then we also talked about Ashley share with us, who's with us today. He's driving. He got called for an inspection, but he talked about just what he was doing before and how it was different from what he's doing now. He still enjoys contracting, but now he's also able to do adjusting, and that has given him more time for him, less stress. Less stress was one of those things that you mentioned having, and I can tell you what, I am like getting rid of the word worry myself since I've become an adjuster. And Ashley, you've been doing this for how many years now?
I've been doing adjusting for 4 years.
For 4 years. And what the great thing about that is that that's almost like college, right? Like 4 years of getting your experience in and being in the point where you're learning and you're growing and you're getting better. And the best thing you can do when you get better is to try to come out and teach people. So we also have Joe on the line with us today too. She's in Florida right now as a mentee of Ashley Severe. And she is from St. Louis. And we're going to talk to her today about her licensing process because Missouri doesn't have a state license. So speaking of states, I want you, if you're watching this, put your state into the chat. Every single state has a different process for getting licensed, for doing this job, for working property inspections. So in the chat, put your name and put your city and state. That way we'll be able to know who we're talking to and how we can help, because the licensing process in Florida, where Ashley is much different than the licensing process where Joe is or resides. So we're going to get into that today. And as promised yesterday, we have a few questions that we're going to answer. So one of the questions comes from, actually, this is more of a comment than a question, but it came from Connecticut Collectibles, and it was done 22 hours ago. He said, I have been handling claims for 33 years. I agree you can make a great deal handling cat claims. So he also handled CD claims as well. So we're going to do a quick check-in. We see David Cohen. He's in Tallahassee, Florida. I have David Davis, who is in Clearwater, Florida. Ja Rocks, yeah, she's back. Or so in Hampton, Virginia. So that's fantastic to have. So continue Atlanta, Georgia. Continue putting your city and state in there. Atlanta, Georgia, currently overseas. Be studying now. That way, when you get back, you're ready to go. We have Miami Beach, Florida, also available. Ashley, you ever work claims down in Miami?
Right now, I'm actually heading to Bradenton, Florida, to do a claim. I had a PA that I was scheduled between 6 and 7. He moved it to 7:45. So that's why I'm driving instead of sitting down at my table doing this right now.
Right, everyone. And we appreciate Ashley for still checking in with us. Give Ashley a big thanks. He's definitely dedicating his time to be able to encourage you all. And we're setting up so that his team is out from Texas to Florida. And one of the best, what we're going to do next is I'm going to have Jolene talk. So just to make sure that she's able to hear my question, everybody, I got to go a little bit closer to the mic, so don't weird out. But we're going to ask Jolene, what was her licensing process? Because if you live in Louisiana, like Lavelle Brown, if you live in New Jersey, like Cecilia, none of you need the actual license course. Or your state doesn't recognize the IA license. So Jolene is going to help assist you in what steps she took to get licensed. Jolene, what did you do to get licensed?
Okay, well, before I answer your question, I just want to say thank you for this platform, because I actually found Ashley because of you. I was looking on YouTube for help to be an adjuster and to know what to do next. And so I found you after I got my first license. I am a resident of Missouri, but I have my designated state license in Texas. And then because I got it in Texas, then I was able to apply to other states. So I'm actually licensed in 11 states now. including Alabama, Mississippi, Oklahoma, Arkansas, because those aren't too hard to get to from Missouri. Also, of course, Texas, Louisiana, even Michigan, because it was very inexpensive, believe it or not. North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, and I might have missed one. So basically, I went through the CERCON database because that's what Texas told me to do to get my license. And then I went through CERCON to get everything else. And then, of course, with Florida, I had to go directly to the Florida website in order to get that. And so my process was basically going to get doing the background check and doing the fingerprint. And that was a small investment. And then after that, it was pretty easy. You know, you just have to buy those licenses.
Yeah, absolutely. You make several great points there because once you get that first license, picking your other licenses is great. And Michigan is the most affordable license. I believe when I was getting Michigan, it was $15.
It's still $15, and I learned that because of your informative video. Thank you.
Well, we do our best to just, as I learn it, I try to pass it out to everyone else. So what happens, guys, if you were paying attention to what she did was she took Texas course. This is a 40-hour course. You got to take it by law. Nothing we can do about that. Once you get that license done, then you can start to get your other states in. The one part I like that Joe said, she didn't just stay, she did the neighboring states from her home. That's why you can never write a book on this stuff, ladies and gentlemen. You just can't do it. You have to know that in this part of the country, maybe the Northwest, it's going to be different from if you live in the Plain States or if you live in the Northeast. So we have Jersey that checked in. We have Miami that checked in. That's why there's no one book that can just say, hey, do steps A through Z. It's so much different than becoming a doctor or becoming a lawyer. And that's what our education system has guided us to. The jobs like this are going to be great for you because you're going to have the opportunity for it to be catered to what you're doing. So, Joe, when you started getting the reciprocal licenses, what happened? Like, how did you reach out to Ashley? What made you want to really reach out?
Okay, well, I did a lot of training. I signed up for a lot of IA firms. I actually took the course. I paid and I took the course and I actually took the test over a weekend and it was great. And it was pretty simple. And then I had a period of time when I actually took the test was the weekend of the Texas storms, believe it or not. And I knew I wasn't going to be able to go out based on my schedule anytime soon, but I spent like 2 months just, okay, well, what do I do next? What do I do next? Knowing that I didn't have any experience. So that's why I found you on YouTube. And then I heard Ashley I think it was exactly 2 weeks ago, saying that he had made $75,000 in 30 days. And he was saying how he had gone with his buddy who was a retired police officer and helped him do a fire claim. And you were like, oh my gosh, well, how long has he been doing adjusting? And he was like, less than a year. And you're like, how can he get such a big claim in a year? And he was like, because he was proficient and efficient. And I was helping him go over his claims. And, you know, that's what we do. We have to support each other. And I said that day, I have to go to him because I need help. I need hands-on training. I was tired of all those videos. I wanted to get on a roof, which is what I did yesterday. I wanted to learn how to do things. I needed to ask questions and things like that. And so that's what happened. I needed someone to really guide me and show me what to do and what not to do, because it's only so much you can learn online.
Yeah, absolutely. So how was getting on the roof? And first, if you don't mind, because one of the things I think I've talked to people about is women in the field. Do you think women will be okay with being in the field? Can you tell us, about you, or do you have offspring?
Yeah.
Do you have, or people like, don't get on that roof?
Okay, well, first of all, you can't be afraid to get on a roof. If you are, don't do it. And second of all, being a woman, you may not have experience in certain things, but you can do it. We do stuff all the time. So basically, I have a marketing background. Then I did training. So I traveled around the country 5 days a week, 5 different cities a day, doing leadership and communication training. Then after doing that, I started writing books and publishing books. So that's what I've been doing for the last 10 years. And I said, you know what? I'm using my brain so much. I'm tired. I'm burnt out. I need to do something. I'm going to earn more money and still be able to help people. And I was like, okay, my brother told me about this. He's in construction and I've worked with him. I've done painting. I've done light construction. I've been on ladders before. I've been on roofs before. Not a lot of roofs, but inside painting, second floors, up on the big ladders. And I'm like, I can do this. Now I'm a little older than you guys. So I was like, okay, can I really do this? And I was like, yes, I can. And so basically, what I learned is if you want to change your life and you want to be able to do more and give more and share more, you have to elevate yourself and you need to go with the best, which is why I found you. Okay, the claims adjuster of the year. And then I found Ashley through you. And I'm like, okay, I have to go to the best and learn. And so I'm just going to say to you guys, if you are willing to put in some work and learn how to be proficient and efficient, you can do it. Don't let fear keep you from changing your future and your family's future. That's what I have.
Right. And that's the one thing that I think people get tripped on. People, especially just the exam. How many people, if you're in the audience, type if the exam is one of the reasons that's stopping you from becoming an adjuster. Just going to take the 40 hours, because Joe says, I believe you did yours over the weekend, right?
Yeah, so can I actually share where I took my course? I took it with Texas adjusters. Lorenzo Jackson, he's been in the business for like 29 years, and he was recommended to me through a friend. And so we actually started our class on Friday, and by Sunday I had taken my test. And so it was really amazing. I mean, we worked hard. We had a lot to do, but it was fairly easy. And I have not been known as a great test taker. I got real nervous, like, okay, how am I going to pass? How am I going to pass? But he was so instructive in terms of the information we would get and what we needed to focus on. And we went over things, we did exercises, and it was just amazing. And so I just don't want people to be afraid, because there is support for these things.
Right. No, that's fantastic. Some people love the in-person opportunity. But for some people, the better opportunity is online.
I did it virtually. Yeah, I did it virtually. They have in class ones as well, but he was in Texas, so okay. I was in Missouri at home taking the class virtually.
Okay, great. So that means that again, everybody, there are options out there. So let me see let's go to the crowd. We have Pamela Gilmore. She said, "Yep, it's the exam." Jay Edwards said it was at first, but third time was a charm. Had to overcome the fear of failure. It took me twice to pass. Okay, so Ken Edwards, he's also saying the exam, a fear of failure. So let me ask. So what we're going to do is I'm going to go to Ashley. Ashley, tell us about the claim that you're going to. Now, you don't have to go into a whole lot of detail, but it's nice to know, right? When you're an adjuster, you have to start to ask certain questions so that you can kind of know what you're going into as far as what the claim is. Maybe you need to do some research, look up weather reports. Tell us a little bit about what you know about your claim so far.
Well, this claim is going to be a wind damage claim. It's going to be a roof, specifically damage to the roof. But I'm meeting with a PA. So when you have to talk with PAs, your first initial conversation is really brief. Most PAs have assistants or secretaries that do the scheduling, which they don't really provide you much information. So you have to lean hard on the notice of loss, the first notice of loss, that typically have the description of the loss and the damages when it was called in. So the only information I have thus far, which is pretty normal when you're dealing with PAs, is the description of the damage, which is wind damage to the roof, and basically it. I'll be briefed upon it when I get there. Something that's interesting about PAs is that when there's a PA involved, you really cannot discuss the claim with the insured, because the PA has the letter of representation.
Mm-hmm. Right. And I'm a PA, and I prefer my homeowners treat the insurance companies like a lawyer would tell you to treat the police. You don't treat the insurance company without your public adjuster. So that should be fun for you to be able to, and that's something different to everyone that can actually take place in your careers, that not only in your experience, not only are you going to be working claims straight with the insurer, but then you're going to have vendors that you work with, contractors that you work with. You're going to have homeowners, sons, because sometimes you have insureds who are a little bit older, and you want to make sure that they that they have the opportunity to have like that support system and understanding of the deductible, getting the repairs done, things of that nature. So you have a lot of different options. So if you're joining us here today, continue to let us know what city and state you're in. We're only going to be on here for another 5 minutes. So if you have a question for Ashley, you got to check in now. This is the time to do it. Next, what I also want to do is I'm actually going to do a pop quiz here in a second and ask you all if you're able to see some damages. So if you think you can answer some of these very, very tough questions, we're going to do that tonight. And then what I want you to do is come back tomorrow because we're going to talk about what stops newbie success, okay? What happens with newbies going out there from them not being able to get that first strong opportunity to say, yes, my foot is finally in the door. So we're going to go over that tomorrow. And then if we hit 50 people, we're at 29 now. And if we hit 50, we are going to do a bonus day 6. That is partnerships with your spouse. We're going to talk about how you, your spouse, your sons, your daughters, family members, friends can use partnerships to help that same business that you're doing get even better. I first started this when I was doing my field adjuster training for flood, and there was a wife and husband couple. The husband would be out in the field. The wife knew how to sketch, how to use Xactimate, and he would just call in the measurements to her. And so because of that, they were able to work more flood claims in a day, whereas by himself, they may be able to work maybe 4. Well, I guess for flood, you do get a lot done, but just think that with him being able to go to the next location, all of the paperwork is already done, that he can just concentrate on what's next, and he's closing claims. And when you're closing claims, you're making money. So share this with your spouse. We'll do that bonus day if we get to 50 people. On day 4, we're going to talk about perfecting your skills, how to do sketches, how to use the tablet, how to use drones, how to use Xactimate, and which one of those are must-have skills. Okay, and then we're on day 5. We're going to talk about getting your salary this season. We understand, the 3 of us on this call right now understand that it's a process that you are going to invest in. You got to get the license. No one can change that. That's state law, mandatory. But you also know if it's so protected and highly regulated, you know it's a solid industry. And don't be afraid to start over. As Joe told us, she was in the business before she started doing her claims adjusting training. So you can transition careers, but you got to know how to be able to do that. It doesn't matter your age. Joe says she went on the roof today, and I think I have a roof picture up here. I actually wanted to ask Joe if she could answer this question for us. This one right here. What type of roof is that?
I have no idea.
That's
In the chat, if you know what type of roof this is, put that in the chat. I should
Are you
say
asking about the bricks? Are you asking about what's on the roof, or you're
That's
asking what type of roof?
question. What type of roofing material is that?
Oh, I think those are shingles.
Those are shingles. What type of
Okay.
shingles?
I can't really tell. I'm looking at my phone, so I really can't tell.
Okay, gotcha. So if you can see this in the chat, tell me what type of shingles this is. Ashley, I have a picture of a roof up with a chimney, and I got some special shingles there. So let's see what the chat is saying. Gable, I see Gable three shingles. I see. Let's see. Jay Edwards said Gable. William Green said Gable 3 shingle. Asphalt shingles. That's the type of material. I'm really looking for a certain name. Laminate. Laminate is a great answer. So these are architectural shingles, everybody. Architectural shingles. Okay. Ashley, have you ever done a fire inspection?
yes, I have.
How long do those normally take? I would love to know. How for you? How long?
It depends on the extent of the damage, and
Right.
that answer is with every inspection. If the fire just stayed in the kitchen and you just have to deal with smoke everywhere, that's one thing. But if the fire went into the ceiling, into the attic, now you have a huge problem because typically fire departments, they're either going to punch a hole through the roof or they're going to punch a hole in the ceiling and spray the entire attic. So what that does, it creates ceiling damage in all of the rooms throughout the home. So it depends on the extent of the
Right,
fire.
right. Right. Actually, outside, ladies and gentlemen, if you're watching, if you see where my mouse is moving, that is where the fire department actually punctured the roof in order to be able to allow, they allow it to let air in, right? To be able to, um, right,
No,
Ashley?
they don't. No, they don't want to let air in because that'll fuel the flame. They
Right.
want to
That's
get
what I'm
inside and
thinking,
spray
right?
it down. They want to get into the
Oh, to
attic and
spray it
spray it down
down, to spray it
from the
down.
out. Yeah, they'll get a ladder up there and spray into the hole that they puncture. Because air
Oh,
actually fuels fire.
right, 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 right. That's what I was just thinking too. That's why I stopped. But okay, so this picture, installation, there's two types. I'm showing the paper faced as well as blown in installation in the ceiling that I just inspected recently. Let me see if I have okay, here's another question for everyone. What is this tool called? Put that in the chat. What is this tool called? Now, as a public adjuster, I use this quite frequently. This tool, you can buy it where you just place it on the back of a surface, and it will tell you how much moisture is underneath a surface. What is that tool called? Type that in the chat. Would love to see your answers. Let me see. I got some other good questions here. Let's see. All right. We talked about what type of shingles are on the roof. This is also the architectural shingle that we've seen before. Now, if you're afraid to, or if you don't want to climb roofs, you can see in this other picture, there's actually a drone right here. And it took pretty darn good photos, and companies are still testing this out. So if I know, Ashley, you're a drone pilot, aren't you?
Yes, I am.
Do you use it for your roof inspections?
I use it, but not a lot of companies will authorize you to use it on certain carriers, but not for liability reasons.
I see, I see, I see. Yeah, I can definitely understand that. And I do know that they are testing. There are quite a few companies that are just testing it out. Let's see, moisture
That's right.
meter.
Now it's not. It's not forbidden. No, it's not forbidden. It's just there are certain carriers that do not authorize you to use it. And
Oh,
on the flip side, there are a lot of carriers that are using it. So
okay. Okay. So Ken Edwards said water meter, moisture meter, and laser distance measure would not be the right answer, but it's the moisture meters. So listen, guys, we were having so much fun. We're already over on time. But what we're going to do, guys, is you're going to come back tomorrow for day 3 for what stops newbie successes. You guys did a great job at answering those questions. It shows that you want to learn. It shows that you're teachable, that you're coachable, and that you're hungry. We'll be right back here tomorrow at 7 p.m. so that we can talk about what is stopping newbie success. And I want you to come on board, bring your spouse. That way we can hit 50 viewers, and that way we can get to that bonus day 6. And if you have more questions about what to do per your license, if you have more questions about what to do based on your experience, based on your age, you got to come back and see us tomorrow. And that will give you a great opportunity to see what will stop you from going. We talked about the exam, but is that enough? Because once you get licensed, that doesn't necessarily put you to work. So to learn how to get yourself to work, come back tomorrow at 7 p.m. Look out for the link on your favorite social media platform, and we'll see you tomorrow. Thank you so much, Joanne. Thank you so much.
all right, guys.
Bye,
Thank
everybody.
you for having